At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
As we take a look now at game number 6 coming up on Saturday night between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. The Knicks with a win and cover at home in game number 5, winning 111-94. And now in game number 6 in Indiana, the Pacers are listed as a 4-point favorite. Now, there's a couple of different lines out there. 3.5 is largely available in the market. So if you like the Pacers, my recommendation would be to take the 3.5 that's out there right now, or wait a little bit, because I do think this line comes down. Now, we've seen money go on the Indiana Pacers in this series, manipulating some of these lines, but here I believe the 4 is too high. Circa's got it at -3.5. There's a respected offshore that has it at -3.5. There are a couple of books that do have the Pacers at -4. And my recommendation would be, if you like the Knicks, now's the time to buy in. Take the +4 with the New York Knicks. This is going to be my best bet coming up for game number 6, because not so much do I believe the Knicks will win this game. I still think the Pacers can win this game, but the 4s are going to be gone. You're not going to get +4. The 4 doesn't make sense. The 3.5 that's okay. That kind of is what it should be. I think it should be 3, maybe 2.5. Because let's think about this. In game number 3, the Pacers were 1.5-point favorites against the Knicks at home. And okay, you want to say it was a little bit decreased, or depressed is actually a better term, because the Knicks were in that, zigzag spot of losing the first 2 games at home, so they were playing with desperation in game number 3. Okay, I can get behind that. But then the Knicks win game number 3, were very impressive in game number 3, and in game number 4, the Pacers open up as a 2.5-point favorite at home. So they move up. The market moves them up from a 1.5-point favorite to a 2.5-point favorite. And I guess that's the whole zigzag coming into play, and thinking that, hey, this is what they've done throughout these NBA playoffs, right? Lost game 3 to the Bucks, bounced back with a win in game 4. Lost game 3 to the Cavs, bounced back with a win in game 4. Lost game 3 for the Knicks. There's a belief that they were going to bounce back in game number 4. So the market adjusted and made them, instead of 1.5-point favorites, 2.5-point favorites. The bettors come in, bet on the Pacers, push it up to 3.5. It settles and closes at 3.5 or 3, depending on where you got it. Pacers win that game. They cover that game. Series goes back to Madison Square Garden for game number 5 here on Thursday night. Knicks win and cover as 4.5-point favorites, or 4-point favorites. Now, with the series going back to Indiana for game number 6 on Saturday, the market is telling us, by putting the Pacers as a 4-point favorite, the market's telling us that the Pacers have actually been upgraded? How could they have been upgraded off of the performance in game number 5? Because the Knicks outplayed them in game number 5. Now, if you want to say that was a one-off, okay. Let's look at this entire series. In game number 1, the Knicks were viewed as 4.5 points favored at home over the Pacers. So if you want to say market rating, we give 2.5 for home court. Maybe we only give 2 points for home court. Whatever. We'll say the Knicks are 2.5 points better. Slightly better than the Pacers. The adjustment in game number 2 was because of, the bounce back spot. The Knicks dominated that game number 1. Lose in historic fashion. So the market adjusts, makes them 6.5-point favorites. Little upgrade on the Knicks, actually. But the market's still saying Knicks slightly better than the Pacers. Pacers outplayed the Knicks in game number 2. It goes to Indy for game number 3. With the Pacers being only a 1.5-point favorite, the market was still saying that the Knicks were slightly better than the Pacers. Because if we gave the Pacers the 2 points for home court, we give the Knicks a slight edge in the power rating. And the Knicks outplayed them in game number 3. Then in game number 4, we're essentially saying that they're even teams with the Pacers slightly better. How? When through the first 3 games, the majority of the play was dominated by the Knicks. But okay, Pacers outplay the Knicks in game number 4. They're up 3-1. Series then shifts to Madison Square Garden, and the market's the same as it was in game number 1, saying that essentially these teams are even, with the Knicks actually slightly ahead. The Knicks win game number 5. And now the market has the Pacers as 2 points valued better than the Knicks? How? If anything, these are even teams. The Knicks dominated game number 1, even though they lost. Dominated game number 1. Pacers were better in game number 2. Knicks dominated game number 3. Well, not dominated. Knicks were better in game number 3. Pacers dominated game number 4. Knicks dominated game number 5. So we've had 2 games dominated by the Knicks, 1 game dominated by the Pacers, and 1 game where each team was better than the other team. But at -4, the market is really inflating the Pacers here. And it can't just be the spot. It can't just be the home team looking to wrap the series up in game 6 because they want to avoid playing a game 7 on the road. And I get it. Historically, this has been a good spot. Teams that are playing in game 6 at home in this spot after losing game 5 on the road with a chance to wrap up the series, now going home for game 6 with a chance to wrap up the series, they usually end the series. And I looked at the last 5 times, it's only happened 5 times in the playoffs, where it's been this exact scenario. Where the team wins games 1 and 2 on the road, loses game 3 at home, bounces back and wins game 4 at home, then loses game 5 on the road. Those teams are a perfect 5-0 in game number 6 at home. They close out the series. So yeah, I get it. It's a great situational spot for the Pacers to be in. But to me, the market is valuing them way too much here. -4 doesn't make sense. If you like the Knicks, like I do, take the +4 now because the +4s will be gone. They'll be gone tomorrow. They'll be gone by the time we get to Saturday. So take the +4 because it's going to go. And if you like the Pacers, wait a little bit. You can take the 3.5 now, but you might be able to get 3, maybe even 2.5. I think that's the way the market moves. And maybe it settles at 2. Maybe it settles at 3.5. And maybe it won't move that much off of the number right now. But the 4s will be gone. 3.5's the number. Circa's at 3.5. There's a respected offshore book at 3.5. DraftKings is at 4. There's another book in town that's at 4 here in Vegas. Take the +4 because it won't be here for long.